Negative thoughts can be really time and energy consuming and just quite frankly quite exhausting. Totally been there. Well, today I'm going to talk about working through or breaking free from negative thoughts. There have been many times in my life where I've just been overwhelmed. And it was just like, oh my God, there's so many negative thoughts. I've got to worry about this. This is going to happen. Like, oh, that happened. Oh, I looked really bad at that. I didn't perform very well. I said that really stupid thing. And it just gets exhausting. It goes around in a spiral. Maybe you can relate to that when I talk about that. I've been in jobs where I was just in such negative thoughts of like, oh my God, I'm going to get judged and all these kind of things that I was just like, I need to call in sick and not go in, right? I've been in the thought loop of like dating a great girl I might like, and I've been like, oh my God, what if it goes wrong? Why has she gone quiet on me for like a day or whatever? And sometimes that was like they just lost interest or whatever. But like those kind of things would really get to my head. And do you know what I realized? None of those thoughts actually did me any favors. Yet, why was I doing them? Because sometimes we can have a negative bias unless we train ourselves. Our brain is wired to ask questions, it's wired to keep us safe. So, therefore, it starts making things up. I found if you don't train it, in terms of making stuff up, that's a real threat when it's actually not most of the time. Obviously, if you were in a life or death situation, that would be a real one. But generally, it would be like, what do people think of us? Oh, how I humiliate myself. Oh my God, I'm going to be alone. All these kind of things. It blows things out of proportion when it's trying to look for real threats. And maybe you're just being caught in negative thoughts and it's exhausting you, and it probably doesn't do you any favors. Well, let's not keep in the same way of doing things if it's not serving us. So let's dive in because I've certainly been guilty of doing things the same way and it didn't serve me. So here are a few tips I really wanted to share with you. So the first one is note through the day anything challenging that's kind of come up. Not every single thing, but like the main thing. So it's like, oh, someone said something. Oh, I read something and I got a little bit triggered. I had a negative feeling. I thought about that and I felt bad. Just make a note on your phone. That's what I do. Like, oh, that made me not feel so good. Oh, when I saw that, or I thought in that certain way, or that situation, or I saw that person, right? I'm just going to log all of these things on my phone. It was a great tip I picked off from a great guy I followed on Instagram. He's full of knowledge and stuff, and I just thought it was really good. I've been implementing it since. The second thing is ask yourself questions. Like then when you've got these things written down, you can ask questions. Just find some time from all those notes you made. Maybe it's daily, maybe it's weekly. Like, okay, right, that came up. What what made that come up? Like, what in particular was triggering about that? And then really start exploring it, and then start questioning some of these negative feelings because that's when I found I've had real breakthroughs when I've questioned the negative feelings because they're just programs that came from ridiculous places that have been playing for no reason. The next point I'm going to share is looking at the company of people you've got around you, online and offline, and information. If you are surrounded by negative people consuming negative information, then that's going to be your default because we adapt to what's around us as human beings, whether we're listening to something regularly or hanging out with people. Like I found as I've gone through the personal growth space, when I've been like listening to someone, maybe in business or maybe it's in like mindset or something like that. When I've been listening to something regularly, I remember listening to Tony Robbins loads as the number one of the number one people in the personal growth industry, experts, and I remember coming out of all sorts of crazy like empowering stuff, and I felt really good. But I've also been in places when I've just like hang was hanging out with like slightly more negative people, when it like robbed off on me negatively. So even if you do like the work on yourself and you're doing this like writing down, questioning things and trying to remove all the negatives, if you're hanging out or adapting to like negative information more often than not, then that's going to really impact you as well. So that's what I wanted to share on breaking free from negative thoughts. Some of the points I really wanted to share with you today. Uh, just writing down anything that comes up, and really it's about uh, becoming aware of negatives and realizing it's not true because it is BS. Right? Note down anything that comes up. Ask questions as they come up, like write them down, and then look at the people, a company of people, and information that's coming up regularly as well. So that's what I got for you today. I appreciate you for being here, and remember to lead with your heart and not with fear.